Okay, let's bring in Ox. Ox, good to have you with us. Dan Oxner, leading radio host, KNSI, the voice of Minnesota. Ox, what the hell? I mean, $400 million. Everybody signed their kid up to get the autism money. Like every kid now has autism in Minneapolis. What is the deal here?
Yeah, it's too easy. All these programs are too easy, and that's always the issue with these, if you will, the Democrats, but even just politicians in general, thinking that there's a need out there, and maybe it starts legitimately, and I don't doubt that it does start legitimately, but you have to have checks and balances in here. And now with the population the way it is in Minnesota, people are realizing they can really scam this thing, as we're seeing in the news. But the biggest thing is we're not allowed, at least until Donald Trump started talking about it a month or two ago, we're not allowed to talk about certain elements of the population. We're not allowed to talk about certain cultural differences between a huge influx of our population right now. These are people that did not grow up with our norms, our values, whatever. They're just seeing this as a gravy train. And I mean, ask yourself, right? If you had no cultural basis for not doing this, why wouldn't you? I mean, there's the money, it's available. Probably don't really understand where the money comes from, and you take advantage of it. There isn't enough money. There aren't enough Republicans to be in office to adequately police these programs. We need to rethink all of these programs. Maybe they sounded like a good idea at one time, but now they're so rife with fraud. We need to dial these back. We need to go back to United Way, our churches, the neighborhoods, the communities, to help these families that truly need it with their children and with their lives, not these giant government programs that are unable to be policed.
Michelle Tafoya, running for U.S. Senate in Minnesota, Republican, a former sideline reporter, NFL. I think she hired the same firm, the same comms firm that was doing Elise Stefanik. I'm getting 3 emails and 2 texts a day. I mean, it's nonstop, way over the top. Does she have a shot here? What's the deal with this candidacy?
Yeah, absolutely. She has a shot. No question. It's exciting to see her in the race, a different type of candidate. One of the things, and maybe I get in trouble for saying this, she's kind of known as a pro-choice conservative, right? A pro-choice Republican, though she did a commercial for Minnesota Citizens Concerned for Life, a group that helped put on this commercial last year, talking about how if the average Minnesotan woman knew the actual abortion laws in Minnesota, they would not support them, even if they are pro-choice, right? So that was a big deal. But she's not running for a seat that has any say in anything abortion because of the Supreme Court ruling a couple of years ago. As a U.S. senator,
so it's irrelevant.
No issue, right? So that takes it out. If she was running for governor, now we've got a problem. So she should be accepted into the Republican realm. I hope the establishment accepts her, and she's our big shot, I think.
Well, she's certainly she's certainly doing the Elise Stefanik shuffle. I mean, she's getting the word out to there nationally, because like I say, I get 2 to 3 emails every day, 7 days a week from her.
Well, my issue is she had her moment when she made the big announcement that she was stepping back from the sidelines.
Right.
I wish she would have jumped in hard right then and there. It's possible that the luster is gone, and now she's going to have to kind of rebuild to remind people who she is.
Right.
That's the only issue I've got with it. The timing might be a little bit late, but yeah, no, she's absolutely a viable candidate for this. I've got a show and tell for you, John, if you have a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
You got to see this. With all these ice out protests going on around Minnesota, look what they were giving out at the public library. I want to show you this. It's a packet. Can you see this? It's a packet. Okay. In the packet is one of these whistles, right? And instructions on how to use the whistle, what to say when ice comes to your door in every freaking language that you can imagine. Hundreds of these packets giving out at the library. We had a nighttime winter parade over the weekend. They were walking the parade route, handing these things out. That's what's going on in Minnesota. Businesses are handing these things out.
Why?
Unbelievable.
Why?
Instructions on how to use the whistle.
Why are they doing this?
Yeah, as you understand, total dissension, right? They are pushing, it's all political. We know that, right? This is all about some sort of a political revolution. Has nothing to do with these people being so concerned about their neighbors who are being wrested from their homes unfairly because they maybe came here illegally or whatever. This is all about dissension, and this is all about, make no mistake about it, the midterm election coming up. We have a gubernatorial election, and the Republicans look like they were winning on all the issues. The Democrats look terrible in Minnesota with all this fraud. They need to keep this going all the way through to November, and that's what they're doing.
Michael Letts, who's paying for this?
Well, we're taking a look at that right now. You've got the Department of Justice investigating that, and it's interesting how it came about, John. You had big names, the Rothschilds, the Soros, etc., that initially seeded this operation, but they quickly learned what I think, unfortunately, our government is an expert at, and that's how to manipulate cash. Now, you and I are paying for it. They're stealing it from the Treasury, from the taxpayers, and we're funding our own demise, which gets me back to what you just said, John. I think it's time we do that performance audit of every program that the government's got its fingerprints on and begin to find out, how did you structure these? Because here's what they hide behind. Oh, it's all legal. Well, we may be legally the way you structure it, but it's certainly morally and ethically robbery. And it's time that we do performance audits and let the American people know just how.
We're not going to do it because nobody wants to do it, because then it all gets exposed. So we just keep sending the money, like we just ran the autism clip from Dr. Oz. I want to get to Curtis Hauk here from MRC, and Curtis has a hard out at 8, so I'm gonna get right to him here. Curtis, Washington Post laying off 1/3 of their staff. It's a dying entity. Bezos is losing millions and millions of dollars a week. He's had enough. They cut out the sports. They cut out the DC Metro desk. That's now a skeleton desk. They had already cut out covering Virginia. Now they're cutting out international. 1/3 of their staff gone, laid off, whatever you want to call it. And this is after they cut half their staff. So they're down to about a sixth of what they were when Bezos took this over. Reaction to this, Curtis Hauk.
Yeah, this is a disaster. I mean, 2023, John, they lost $77 million. 2024 reports say it was probably close to $100 million. Now, of course, the left is out there saying, well, of course, it's conservatives' fault. It's also the fault of the Bezos and his editors and the editorial board because they didn't endorse Kamala Harris. They didn't endorse all the Democrats and said, we're not going to do political endorsements anymore. We're going to have the editorial board. We're going to bring in a guy from Jonah Goldberg and Steve Hayes as the dispatch. So we're not going to have like extreme TDS. We're only going to have mild TDS. And that, they claim is why the subscribers plummeted and they're losing tons of money. But as you point out, this has been a situation that's been going on for a long time. They were cutting people years before this. And so, they're kind of stuck here where they're basically Politico with an official op-ed page and columns. And nobody's going to want to buy that when all you're doing is covering the White House, the Hill, the courts, some government agencies, and some national news. There's really little interest to read it. Yes, there was bias in the local sections, in the sports sections. It kind of annoyed us. Yes, the international news, they cut their entire Middle East. So that includes Israel, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, all of those, Iraq, all of those places. And a lot of that coverage was insane. But the coverage that actually put them in this position that turned it off to half the country, their extreme virulent hatred of the president, is staying. So that's kind of an interesting dichotomy that they're stuck in here. So nobody really likes them at this point. And when not even your own base likes you, and obviously conservatives have no reason to support them, you're in a really bad spot financially. And yes, Bezos is the richest man in the world, but I think even if you're losing $100 million a year, even a guy who's a quarter of the way to being a trillionaire, you still look at that and say, why?
Well, he got that money because he knows how to run a business. And when you're losing $2 million a week with no end in sight, there's no end in sight. And you absolutely nailed it. I'm here in DC. Now, I subscribe to it, and I subscribe to it for one reason: Metro DC coverage, which is good. Now they cut that out. So I don't need them. I don't need to read, look, I don't need to read what they're saying about the White House. I'm there every day, but you nailed it. They're becoming an expensive Politico. So they are.
Tell me about
Well, they are.
the mayor. Tell me
And
about the
Politico is free. So like, why would I pay a dime for these people? It's absolutely worthless.
Yeah, tell me about the roads. Tell me about how Bowser in the DC area completely botched the snow removal situation. I mean, tell me about that kind of stuff.
Right.
Tell me about
That's why I paid for it.
That is insane.
I mean, they had people on the Metro beat, and look, I live in Ward 2. I'm Ward 2 RNC chairman. I'm running again. I got an event tonight for my election. But listen, our snow was removed, but you go to Ward 7 and 8, which is in the most economically challenged or poorest areas of town, they didn't remove the snow. I mean, that should be covered, right? Obviously, they prioritize the business areas here. But now they're not going to cover that because they cut those people out. Why would I subscribe to this rag?
Yet again, it is the Simpsons principle. Am I out of touch? No, it is the children who are wrong. That's where we are with these folks. They're not willing to look inward. They're not, it could be one thing if you're just trying to turn the car around, but yet the car's still kind of careening over the edge. Instead of going face down, it may now go down backwards. Either way, you're still going over the cliff. The left has decided that the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal and everything else, the Atlantic, where most of the Washington Post staff have gone to, those are the official organs of the liberal elite Blue Sky Brigade.
The liberal elite Blue Sky Brigade. So I did a column on this, guys, yesterday. I don't know if you saw it, but I'm in the presser with Melania Trump yesterday. Which is very rare. She very rarely engages with the media, as you guys know. Very rare. She's very elegant. We go in the East Wing where the First Lady's office is. She's there with two survivors from the horrible Hamas hostages. They came to D.C. They reached out to the White House. They said, "We'd love to shake your hand, give you a hug. If it wasn't for your husband, we'd still be hostages. We thought we were going to die." It was a beautiful event. They opened it up for questions. Third question in, we get kicked out because libtard activist Betsy Klein of CNN shouts out a totally inappropriate question about why are you promoting your documentary in a White House official event? Well, she says, I'm not talking about my documentary. I'm here are these people that thought they were going to die and now they're alive and they want to come and give me a hug. That's why we're here. And then the Melania staff ended the press conference and kicked us out. See, this is what we deal with every day and nobody calls them out.
Yeah, no, they don't. They don't. Or if they didn't, they were going to probably ask all kinds of Epstein questions, like Caitlin Collins did the day prior. So, again, it's not what people care about. It's only what they care about. There's no bigger group of self-centered egotists, even more than DC politicians, than the national news media.
All right, Hauck. Hey, do me a favor. Put in the chat there your email so we can put you on our email list and stay in touch. I want to thank you for, I know you have a heart out. Curtis Hauck, he's a managing editor, MRC's News Busters, at Curtis Hauck. That's Houck. You can follow him there at Curtis Hauck. Curtis, thank you. Put your email in there, and I'll let you go. Guys, Mox and Michael, can you guys hang with us a couple of minutes?
Sure.
Mox, you guys hang? Okay, we're going to go to the top of the hour news, and we're going to be right back. Stay with us.